Well, we're getting to the end of the season, but right here is actually a big ramp bed. Has anybody ever heard of ramp? It's the wild leaf.
Oh my God. He really scared me.
I don't see any. I think they're about done for the year. But this right here is one of the biggest ramp patches in the whole state, which is a wild leaf that they would come and dig in the spring. People still are wild for the wild leaf. It's a great flavoring. Although it's very potent, it kind of gives me an upset stomach if I eat too many of them. And if you eat enough ramps, you literally start to stink like ramp. You smell like onion, but it's a very effective bug repellent, so people love to do it. I actually have family down in Tennessee, and my cousins used to tell me that they would send them home from school if they ate so many ramps. So they would intentionally go out in the woods and eat as many ramps as they could, so they would get sent home from school.
Smart kids.
If you look around this spot right here, it's a really rich part of the forest. Really great soil. It's getting a lot of sunlight, so we've got a lot of good herbaceous plants coming up, and this is where a lot of the most helpful stuff for food would be. And really, you know, if you think about what life must have been like before a grocery store, this was the grocery store. This is where you came from everything. And a lot of the calorie sources for the Native Americans and the early settlers was game. So they ate a lot of wild game, a lot of meat, you know, relative to what we probably eat today, especially in the winter. But this is the time of year you get out and try to get all the fresh greens you could, all the wild, you know, forageable foods. And in this area you can see so much that's edible. We've got the stinging nettle and ramps growing right under it, and violets, which is a wild edible flower. Right up here we've got some more of that spice bush berry. That right there is mayapple, which produces an edible fruit. And looking around, almost everything you see was useful or beneficial in some way. And it's not an accident. These forests, in the grand scheme of things, are not that old. Only about 10,000 years ago was the Ice Age, and this was all basically a flat wasteland. And as those forests came back, Native Americans came back with it, and they actively helped to shape this forest. They brought along all the plants that they needed to live, and were actively encouraging those to grow. And you can look around and say, wow, almost everything here is edible or medicinal or useful in some way. And that didn't happen by accident. Thousands of years of Native American activity, and then settlers too. We've been encouraging all these plants that we need for all that time. Question? Oh, these are all ferns up here. And ferns are actually edible when they're very young and they're first coming up. They're called fiddleheads. And they send out a shoot with the whole fern wrapped up in like the bow of a fiddle on the top. And so about half the species of fiddleheads are edible.